Ohio State and Texas just a few hours away from kickoff as we are joined now by Dave Briggs from the Toledo Blade. And Dave, just the fourth ever meeting between the Buckeyes and Longhorns, and Texas has a 2-1 advantage, but every time these two teams have met, it's been some quality games.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly remember being there at 2005 at the Horseshoe for a top 5 matchup. I know Ohio State fans still remember Ryan Hamby dropping that touchdown pass in the end zone that kind of cost them the game. But yeah, this is kind of what you call one of those classic uniform games, just massive brands, just the reason you tune in for college football.
You know, in an alternate universe, Quinn Ewers would be the Ohio State quarterback. Bill O'Brien would be the offensive coordinator for the Buckeyes, but that's not how things have worked out. Instead, it's Chip Kelly calling the shots at Quinn Ewers is at Texas. And a lot of respect for Ohio State for what Ewers did, and Ewers' respect for what he learned in that 4 months in Columbus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I saw one of the Texas fan sites said this is going to be a revenge game for Quinn Ewers. Not sure where that would come from. Quinn Ewers has said nothing but great things about his experience at Ohio State. The Ohio State players all complimentary of him. Seems like they had a good relationship. There's nothing against, no reason for ill will against Ohio State. I mean, he was backing up C.J. Stroud. He was 18 years old. He reclassified to come to Ohio State early as a high school senior because Ohio's NIL laws, or Texas's NIL laws, prohibited him from cashing in as a high school kid. So he reclassified, came a year early, kind of screwed everything up with the schedule, and next thing you know, he's at Texas. But yeah, I think good feelings on both sides, a lot of mutual respect.
We've seen the last couple of games, Ohio State's been so dominant in the first quarter, the first half. They've talked about how that helps them set the tone. Texas has been pretty good as well. In fact, Steve Sarkisian talked about how they script their plays. So is the first quarter going to determine the winner of this game?
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State has been absolutely electric coming out of the gates. Horrible in the regular season. I think they've outscored Tennessee and Oregon 35-0, combined 35-0 in the first quarter of these two games. So, yeah. And then on the other side with Texas, Steve Sarkisian, just like every coach, you script your first couple drives, but Sark kind of has taken that to a new level. That's when they're at their very best, and then they kind of struggle a little bit as the game goes on and teams adjust. But yeah, I mean, I think as much as anything with playing in not a hostile environment, but this will be a very pro-Texas crowd, especially with a lot of Ohioans not being in all the flights into DFW were shut down today, a lot of them. So whatever Ohio State fans are going to be there, that's going to be even a lesser number. So I do think it's important to get off to a good start in what's semi of road game.
As much as we want to talk about the offenses, there are two sides of the ball, and we're talking about two of the best defenses in the nation. Ohio State leading in scoring and total defense. Texas has the best pass defense in the nation. So offense is going to go up against pretty good defense on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of like we were talking about off air, though, it's just kind of if Ohio State plays well, I don't know if anybody can stop them. We talked about Tennessee's defensive line. Oh, that's going to be a problem for Ohio State's reconfigured offensive line. Will they be able to run the ball? Yes, they were. Then we talk about Oregon. Oh, they have an even better defensive line than Tennessee. Will that be a problem? No. Continue to dominate. And same with Texas. Yeah, they have a very good defense on paper, top defense in the SEC, but I mean, it's if Ohio State plays like it did the first two games, they'll run that defense off the field too.
You mentioned the M word, Michigan. We know the transitive property does not apply to athletics, but Texas beat Michigan, Michigan beat Ohio State, so Texas should beat Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely. Just like Northern Illinois should be in the playoff today, facing Penn State instead of Notre Dame. But yeah, it is amazing, and the coaches talked about it today, just about how the one good thing about this playoff era is it does allow you to evolve over the course of the season. You can lose two games like Ohio State and be in the playoff versus, I mean, think about if we had the 1-2 BCS, the championship game this year would have been Oregon versus Georgia. Is that probably would have been a good game, but is that the game that we would have wanted to see? So it is kind of cool. If Texas loses the SEC title game, they're able to get here. Ohio State, probably the best team in the country, they're able to kind of work through their Michigan issues and everything else and finally come into form here.
All right, thank you very much, Dave Briggs from the Toledo Blade. Now, the Buckeyes beat Tennessee on a Saturday. They beat Oregon on a Wednesday. They're going to play Texas on a Friday. If they win, they're going to play on a Monday. And Chip Kelly with a tip of the cap to Toledo and Bowling Green saying, hey, this is what MACtion is all about. This is what the MAC does in November. You never know what day it is. You just got to go out there and play football, and that's exactly what the Buckeyes and Longhorns will do tomorrow night in North Texas. We're going to sign off with the Buckeyes on the road alongside Dave Briggs. I'm Mark Kunz. Thanks for joining us on BCSN.